So what connects a musician in, say, an ancient Greek amphitheater with a student today playing piano for a panel of judges?
It's that same drive, right, that
Yeah.
need to compete.
Exactly, and that's what we're diving into, the whole world of music competitions. We're not just looking at who wins.
No, it's more about the why. Why even do it? We want to look at the history, the intense preparation, and the huge skills you actually walk away with.
Okay, so let's start with the history, because the idea of a music contest is seriously old.
Oh, thousands of years old. You have to go all the way back to places like ancient Greece.
And this wasn't just, like, a talent show for fun, right?
Not at all. It was part of these big religious festivals. Musicians, poets, they'd perform as a way to honor the gods. It was about reaching for, artistic perfection.
Wow, so it started as worship. How did it evolve from there?
Well, then you jump forward to Europe, to the royal courts. The goal there became a bit more practical.
Theoretical.
Yeah, monarchs and nobles needed the best performers for their courts. So a competition was basically a job interview. If you won, you got a steady gig, money, social status. It was a huge deal.
From honoring gods to getting a paycheck.
Mm.
Okay, but that sounds a little unstructured.
It was. The real structure came in the 19th century with the rise of music schools, the big conservatories.
So they started to standardize things.
Exactly. Competitions became the way to set a global standard for technique. It wasn't just about who the king liked anymore. It was about meeting these clear, measurable benchmarks.
Which brings us to today. Why do students still compete? The main reason is, what? To get a grade?
I mean, partly, but the biggest goal is creating that platform. It's a place to showcase all that hard work. And for a student, having that competition date on the calendar, it forces you to set really clear goals.
It adds that focus, doesn't it? You can't just noodle around in the practice room. You have to nail every single detail.
And you get feedback from actual experts. I mean, these are people who've performed and studied at the highest levels. Their critique tells you exactly what you need to work on next.
For me, though, I think the biggest thing is what happens on stage. Standing there, under the lights, knowing people are judging you.
It's terrifying.
It's terrifying, but it builds so much confidence. You learn how to handle that adrenaline, how to keep your hands from shaking. That's a skill you can use for, well, anything. A final exam, a presentation at work.
It is. So many performers say the prep itself is what matters most. That discipline, that work ethic, that stays with you forever, way more than a trophy.
Speaking of competitions, the variety out there is huge now, isn't it? It's not just classical piano.
Oh, it's gigantic. You have everything from small local contests in a school or a town.
All the way up to these massive international events that draw people from all over the world.
And the categories are so diverse. Of course, you have the solo instruments, violin, flute, piano, but then you have competitions for chamber groups, for choirs, for orchestras.
And different styles, too. I've seen contests for opera, for jazz singers.
Even for electronic music producers now, composers too. The whole scene is constantly evolving to include new sounds, which is really cool to see.
So there's a place for almost any musician. But okay, if you're going to compete, we have to talk about the preparation, because that's where the real work happens.
That's where it all happens. It takes months. We're talking like 6 to 9 months of really disciplined work.
And step one is what? Just picking a song.
It's choosing the right song, the repertoire. You need a piece that doesn't just meet the rules, but one that really shows off your technical skills and your musical personality.
Something that says, this is me.
Exactly. Then you have to break it down. You don't just play it over and over.
So what does serious competitors do?
They get strategic. They'll spend, say, 30 minutes just repeating 1 or 2 really difficult measures over and over until it's perfect. Then they'll work with their teacher on the history. Like, why did the composer write it this way? What's the story behind it?
That's a lot of detail. Is there, like, a pro tip?
Yeah.
Something that really separates the winners from everyone else?
Yeah, 2 things. First, they do full run-throughs. They practice performing the entire program, start to finish, with no stops. It builds stamina. Playing for 20 minutes straight at that level is physically exhausting.
Like an athlete training.
It is. And the second thing is, they record themselves constantly.
To catch mistakes.
Mistakes, yes, but also things you just can't hear when you're playing. Little dips in energy, tiny rhythm issues. The microphone catches everything.
And this is all on top of the physical and mental prep.
Right. You have to think about your posture, your hand health.
Yeah.
But the mental game is maybe even more important, using things like visualization, imagining the perfect performance, or deep breathing to stay calm. It's a whole package.
Okay, so you've done all that work. You walk on stage. Let's talk about the judges. What's the very first thing they're listening for?
The absolute non-negotiable foundation, technical skill, meaning you have total control over your instrument. If you're making technical mistakes, it's like a big flashing sign that distracts from the music itself.
And technical skill breaks down into a few key things, doesn't it?
It does. First is intonation. That's playing every note perfectly in tune, not a little sharp, not a little flat, dead on.
Okay.
Second, a rock-solid rhythm. No speeding up, no slowing down unless the music calls for it. And third is clear articulation.
Articulation. What does that actually mean for an instrument?
It's how clearly each note begins and ends. Think of it like a speaker enunciating their words. You want every musical phrase to be crisp and easy to understand.
And that kind of control comes from years of scales and what are the things called? Etudes.
Etudes, yeah. An etude is basically like a workout for your fingers. It's a short, really difficult piece written specifically to solve a technical problem, like fast scales or big jumps.
So they're not always pretty to listen to.
Not always, but if you master them, you gain this freedom. You're not fighting with your instrument anymore. You can just focus on making music.
Okay, but here's the big question. Technique alone isn't enough to win, right? What happens when two people are technically perfect?
That's where the real art comes in. That's musicality and interpretation.
This is what brings the music to life.
This is what tells the story. It's how a performer uses the notes to express emotion. It's what makes a performance truly memorable.
And how do judges even measure something so subjective?
They listen for specific things. A big one is dynamics. That's the volume, knowing when to play softly and when to be powerful. It creates contrast, tension, drama.
And then there's phrasing.
Phrasing is huge. A good way to think about it is like speaking. You group words into sentences to make sense. In music, you group notes into phrases to communicate an idea.
So it's not just a long string of notes.
Exactly. The goal is to have your own unique interpretation that's still true to what the composer wanted. That human element, that personal voice, that is almost always what tips the scales and wins over the judges.
Let's talk about the elephant in the room for any performer. Performance anxiety.
The shaky hands, the racing heart.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone gets it.
So how do the successful competitors deal with it?
They treat it like another skill to practice. They use things like positive self-talk, reminding themselves that they're prepared. Exercise helps a ton. Meditation, too.
And just practicing the act of performing, I imagine.
Absolutely. Doing mock performances for family and friends over and over again, it makes the real stage feel a little less scary. Honestly, learning to perform under that kind of pressure is maybe the most valuable skill you learn from all of this. It helps with school, with jobs, with life.
So beyond the life skills, what about the actual prizes?
Well, you have trophies and cash, which can help pay for more lessons or college, and the recognition is huge. Being a finalist in a big competition looks amazing on a college application. It shows a level of discipline that's pretty rare.
And for the very top winners, it can be a career launcher.
Oh, for sure. Winning a major international competition could lead to an album deal or concert tours with famous orchestras. It can change your life overnight.
But even if you don't win, the biggest reward is probably that personal growth.
It has to be. The commitment, the work ethic, and learning how to handle failure. To learn a difficult piece, you have to fail hundreds of times in the practice room. That process builds resilience like nothing else.
And technology is changing the game here, too.
It really is. A lot of competitions now use initial video auditions.
Which is great for access, right? Someone from a small town can compete globally without having to fly anywhere.
Exactly. And we're even seeing some live rounds done over high-speed streaming. It also helps the judges give feedback faster, sometimes with recorded audio comments, which is super helpful.
It feels like the future of these events is really focused on being more inclusive.
For sure, more musical styles, more diversity,
Yeah.
and really importantly, a growing focus on the mental health and well-being of the competitors. It's not just about the final score anymore.
So in the end, it's not just about winning a medal.
Not at all. It's about mastering a set of skills, discipline, focus, resilience that will help you no matter what you do, whether you're aiming for a stage like Carnegie Hall or just giving a presentation in class.
The real prize is that combination of perfect technique and real, honest emotion.
That's what it's all about, the pursuit of excellence.
Keep those keys moving and those strings singing. Good luck with your studies.